Incredible afternoon, everyone. How are you guys doing? All right. This is going to be a good one. It's one that you guys have somewhat requested. So I'm going to give you a little preview and a little peek of Photoshop, but also show you how that compares to Silhouette Studio. A lot of things in the Silhouette Studio software. So that is what we are going to do today. Now, before we go ahead and get started, I am going to share with you guys that there is a intro to photo editing and effects class that I am doing on Monday, the 22nd, the 21st and the 22nd, Tuesday. There are going to be 2 sessions on both days. You can either join at 12 noon or 6 p.m. For those sessions to see how to do some basic edits in Photoshop. So if you go over to our website, and you go under the Academy classes, which actually I forgot to move the other one up. But if you go to the Academy classes, it's right there. It's a 2-day class, but it is on sale for $23.65, which is the cost for our, if it's a 1-day session with me, but this will be a 2-day session to learn how to remove backgrounds, make simple edits with like your clone tool and your content aware to images or photos, also how to add basic effects to them, especially with your images. So we're going to go over that in Photoshop. So if you want kind of an intro to Photoshop to see if it's really what you need for designing, then definitely head over to our website to check out that particular training. All right. But today, what we are going to do is I'm going to show how to take an image. And basically what I want is almost like a magazine. I'm actually going to do something else for this picture. I have to create a poster, but this is one of the images that was sent to me. And I was playing around with some things. I was like, you know what? This will be a really good teaching. So I'm going to show you in Silhouette, as well as I think I may still have it set up in Photoshop. Actually, no, I reverted both of them back. But basically, I'm going to make it to where I can put his name right behind his head. And I'm going to show you how that's done. And you'll probably be surprised that the same way that it's done in Photoshop is pretty much the same way that you would do it in Silhouette Studio. So don't, write off Silhouette Studio because you can do a lot in it. For certain things that you can do in Photoshop, you can recreate those same effects in Silhouette Studio and not have to necessarily pay for Photoshop right off the bat. All right. Oh, I see. We're about to play in your your lane right now, Octavius. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining the live. All right. So, do you guys want to see it done in Silhouette Studio first or Photoshop? I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to put it out there anyway. Do you want to see me do this edit in Photoshop first or Silhouette Studio? And while you guys are answering, let me introduce myself. I am Shakia, the professor of HS Inc. 365 LLC. We are the parent company of Silhouaholics Anonymous, where I've been teaching you guys how to use Silhouette Studio for the past 7 years. You can really do a lot in the software, guys. I'm telling you, you can do a lot. Some of the more basic things, like we are trying to do like blurs and fading off. Yeah, you can't do those things in Silhouette Studio, but there's a lot of things you really can do. It may take a little bit more work in Silhouette Studio, but you definitely can. And then we have our amazing product line, honestly speaking, where we carry Sublimation ink, Sublimation paper, pigment ink, and more. And then 365 Creative Academy is where I help you to unlock your creativity in a wide variety of classes, such as our upcoming intro to Photoshop, photo editing, and image effects. Okay. So yeah, this is kind of a soft launch before we get into the full essentials to Photoshop. I do have one on the site already. So if you would like to enroll in that one, you can. We do have one that's going to be like a full Essentials to Photoshop, kind of like the same way I did Essentials to Silhouette Studio, just not a full 30 days. So we are going to do that with Photoshop. That's coming up, but we do have one that's a little bit, might be a little bit more cost effective for depending, not you, I'm just saying for anyone. There is one on the site right now. All right. So I already knew that was coming. I do all of the silhouette stuff. So I knew it was coming, that everybody was going to say Photoshop, because I do so much silhouette stuff. And you guys are used to kind of seeing that. All right. So someone says, I don't have Photoshop. Well, you'll get to see it. I'm not sure. Do you, what is it? Eddie Smith. Do you have, do you use Silhouette Studio? All right. So we're going to go over to Photoshop first. All right. And we're going to go ahead and jump into it. Make sure that you guys give this video a thumbs up. So go ahead, smash that thumbs up. If you're watching over on Facebook, keep tapping on the like button or the heart button, drop a reaction or emoji, just simply say hi. All engagement helps the broadcast. So go ahead and engage on the post, give it some likes, share it out, tag someone in this post. Well, I can't help you with Affinity. I really don't like that software. I do have it, but I'm not a big fan of it. The interface of it just really doesn't work for me. So unfortunately, I won't ever be able to help you with Affinity. All right. So let's go ahead and do this. So when it comes in, unfortunately on TikTok, you guys won't see it. If you want to see the full video, you can always go over to one of our YouTube channels. I'm actually streaming to all of them right now. So you can always go over there. I have the business edition, but I have not used it. Oh my gosh, why are you wasting money, Eddie Smith? Definitely want to get into using Silhouette Studio, and I can show you how to do that. So after you watch this demo, if you decide that you really want to learn Silhouette Studio at this level, make sure that you head over to our website and enroll in my 30-day training, okay? Okay, so this is a JPEG that was brought in. So when it comes in, it's going to have a lock on. You just want to double click on that, and you're just unlocking where it's not really JPEG. And you're basically going to create layers and things for this. So real quick on this, like a quick edit, Photoshop has, if you go to the fourth icon down, it's like a magic wand. So you can do the magic wand selection. You can do the quick selection. But once you click on it, there is this option up here that says select subject. So we're just going to go ahead and select him, and it will give you basically what's called marching ants. Well, that's what I call them, marching ants around it. That's letting you know the selection. If we look really closely here, it didn't pick up his strap here, and it has like a little bit extra there. Part of his shoulder did not capture. So it does a fairly good job, but you will have to sometimes go in there and do additional edits. Like right here on his pants, it's not there. So you can go, once you do the quick selection, you can go back to that wand, and we're going to go to the quick select. You can change your brush size so that it's not so big. I'm just going to go to add, and we're going to take my brush size down. And so I can add this part back into the selection, or if I pick up too much, I can take that out, right? So we can do it that way, or we can do select and mask, and it'll fade out the background for you to really see like what's selected and what's not. And if I want to add back in some of this area, I can. Now, when it comes to the strap right here, I can pull that back in, but I would have to keep adjusting my brush size down to really get into like those details. But I'm going to show you something else that you can do, which is one of the things that I love in Silhouette Studio. So it's kind of the same thing, which is like point editing, but we're going to use our pen tool along with masking in Photoshop. All right. So now that I have this, it's a little fuzzy around here, but I'm not even worried about the bottom area, because where I'm going to put the name at, it's not even going to matter for this. All right. So I'm going to come over here to output, and I want to make it a new layer with a layer mask, and then I'm going to hit OK. All right. So this is it right here. And as you can see, I'm still missing some of the helmet, missing some of the area over here. So I'm going to click on the layer mask, the one for the, like, I'm going to click on the actual layer mask, go over to my brush tool, and I want to have black in the, actually want to bring my white to the foreground, to the forefront. And I'm going to kind of paint this back in a little bit. And I want to really get in really, really tight around the straps of his helmet. So what I'm going to do is use my pen tool. I'm going to click on the pen and let's zoom in. And I'm going to follow the strap. And then I'm just going to come back around. Okay. And I'm going to make it a selection. And it's going to give me marching ants again. I'm still on the layer mask. I'm going to go back to my brush, but this time I'm going to make sure that black is black is the one that's the top one. So black conceals, white reveals. So we're going to go inside here and we're just going to brush this out. So I was able to really get really close to the strap. I can do the same thing for any other areas around his body. Like if I really, really wanted it to be a really good outline of it and not so what I like to call like a fuzzy cut, I could use my pen tool to make sure that it was right there up against his uniform. Because as you use the brush tool, you'll have to kind of go up and down with your brush and you can end up taking away too much and then have to keep switching back and forth. So when you isolate the area with your pen tool, it just makes it for a really fine detail as far as editing it. So I'm going to move this over. Same thing, just like with Silhouette Studio, I'm going to hold down my space bar and I can move around and stay zoomed in. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to go back to my pen tool and we're going to come down and around. And I mean, I'm doing just short clicks, but I could do longer ones to give myself a smoother edit. This is the one thing that is very much so different from Photoshop to Silhouette Studio is that you can back up and then still kind of create your curves. In Silhouette Studio, you can't, and you actually can create the curves as you are putting down your nodes. Silhouette Studio, you can't do that. So I'm just going to click back around to here, make it a selection, and then go to my brush tool. I do want to have the black, and we're just going to brush that out. So I have the straps in this edit. So I'm just going to go Control D to go ahead and deselect that. And I'm going to zoom back out. All right. So now that I have removed it, my initial layer went to where you don't see it. I'm going to bring that back in. Okay. I'm going to go ahead, go to my text tool, and we're going to type out Corey. And make that bigger. And what I'm going to do is take the text layer, click on it, drag it down in between the one where we did the masking and then the full layer. So now we have this back here. Now, this is one way of doing it where everything stays, you're not really removing a lot of stuff. You could also do this where you would have the name and then you would create a layer mask for that one that is the shape of his head. And you would actually be kind of like masking away the name Right now, everything is basically solid. So you can put this here. We can change the color on it. We can put different effects on it. I'm not going to necessarily go through the effects, but I just wanted you guys to see how, you know how you have like magazines and it looks like the name or like the title of the magazine is behind the model's head. This is kind of what those graphic designers will end up doing. And then if you end up doing different edits, like adding shadows and stuff. So because we have him here, we can, well, he already has a shadow, so we want to add another one. But if you add just different effects to the name, it'll just it'll seem like it was taken where his name was behind him already. So that's how you would do that in Photoshop. All right. You can do the same thing in Silhouette Studio. You can do it the long way where you would do your edit points, or you can use remove.bg to aid you in being able to accomplish that. So now we're going to go over to Silhouette Studio. I'm going to go to remove.bg. You'll pull it in. I pay for remove.bg, so I can get pretty decent well, not say pretty, they come in really, really good as far as high resolution images, and it'll already be set for me. Now with this one, just like with Photoshop, why did it download again? Just like with Photoshop, I knew it was gonna do that. It won't let me, it's not gonna let me edit right now because I've already done it, and stop downloading. But just like with Photoshop, I'm not sure if you guys can see, but his straps are not there. You can go in and do restore and basically do the same thing where you're going to paint it back in. Only difference is you don't really have as much control. You only have basically like a brush. You'd have to make it really small. And it's not like always like super, super great when it comes to that. But I'm not even worried about that because I really don't care about how that looks, how I'm going to use it in Silhouette Studio. So I have both the high resolution version as well as if you have the free version. I'm going to show you both ways. So I'm going to go File, Merge, and we're going to bring in, actually, is it here? Okay, no, I'm going to have to go to Downloads. Okay. Let's go with, it might be this one. I think these are the ones I just did. I don't know why it comes in looking crazy. All right, so we're going to go with this one. Okay, so I think that is the high resolution one. That's not the one I wanted though. All right, let's see. File. You know what? Let's just go over here and go to my downloads. And I'm just going to drag and drop because it's a bunch of them over here. I don't remember which one it is. All right. Let's see. Okay, this is the free version one, okay? And this is the one where I was saying where I can bring that area back in. With remove.bg, it makes it to where all it does is remove the background, but the box stays the same. So that I can make this line up with this one, I'm going to click on this image. It is 8.889 by 8.889. So I'm just going to highlight this and just copy it. Click on this image and then paste that there so that it's the same size. All right. I'm going to make a duplicate because I want to have this one. I'm going to do a trace and detach on this image right here. So we're going to go over to trace, select trace area, place our box around it. We're going to take our threshold up and we're going to go trace and detach. We're going to drag and select that trace and detach and the outside because we still need it to be like the whole box. And I'm going to group it together. Then I'm going to hold down Shift, select my original image, and I'm going to center it. I'm going to go over to text. Actually, I think I had indigo on there. All right. I'm going to click on the front layer and I'm going to ungroup it. I clicked on something and moved. It looks like there's nothing there, but remember that was a transparent background. If I were to add color, you'll see that that's where he was cut out at. So now it's just his image in the middle. I'm going to click on that, right click, and bring it to the front. Now that's like it's behind it. But of course, we have his straps. So we're going to double click on that and bring down our edit points. So you see how it's technically the same thing. In order to get the area around the straps of his helmet, we still have to use the edit points. So this is what I was saying. Some of the same things that you can do in Photoshop, you can do in Silhouette Studio. And you may not really need Photoshop at this time if it's something that doesn't just fit into your schedule to necessarily full on learn or to pay for it monthly. You can do a lot with Silhouette Studio. And what I'm doing here is with the free version. I'm not using any type of upgrades to do this. Edit points are available in the free version. Now, technically, I really don't even have to go down here because it's not where his name is. Now, if I was going to put like a bunch of text behind him, I would want it to be where, you know, I edit this part, because once the text gets here, see, it's not going to be where you can see the letters. So depending on where your text is going to be at, you may want to continue to edit it, but you really, really don't, because it is right on top of the original image. So on this side, we're going to add a point, bring this down. Oh, come on, undo. Corner point. And so this is what I was saying, like, Silhouette Studio is a little bit different because, you know, you have to go in and edit each node, unlike Photoshop, where I was able to basically like draw it out and adjust the nodes as far as like curves and things like that as I was going around it. You can't really do that in, oh wait, you guys can't see that. You can't really do that in Silhouette Studio. All right. But we're going to remove the line color. But look, there we have it. And you can still make it bigger, make it smaller. You can add different effects to it. I'm just going to add a shadow to the name. It's not a drop shadow. It is more of a vector shadow, but you can still add effects to it. All right. And this can move around anywhere. And it looks like it is behind him. Well, in between him and the background, which let's go ahead and pull this back in right here. All right. So if you have now I like to use the, what's that thing called? The paid version of remove.bg. But if you don't have that, you can still do this, right? So this is the free version. So again, I'm going to come up here. We're going to paste in the size. We're going to do a trace and detach. I'm sorry, we're actually just going to do a trace, not a trace and detach. So I'm going to go to trace, select trace area. We're going to take our threshold up. And we're going to do a trace. I'm going to select both of these, group them together. hold down shift, click on my original image and center them. I'm going to ungroup, move this out of the way. I'm going to grab just that outline. I'm going to fill it in with color just so you guys can see what's going to happen with this. Ooh, first let me double click and delete these points. And it's a little rough, so I'm going to try and simplify it to see if I can get that to smooth out some. So now this one in the background, we're going to duplicate it. So I'm just going to hold down Alt and click. That's going to duplicate it right in front. And I'm just going to go ahead and just send it back to the back. It's still selected. Hold down Shift, click on this trace that we created, modify, and crop. Take his name, duplicate it, click on this one, bring it to the front. So I use the original image. So if you bring in the like the free version, I don't know which one is which now, hold on. The quality is not the same. Actually, I think both of these were the free version. Where is the, this is the one, like this is the high definition or high resolution version. So you see the difference between the free version and, you know, when you pay for remove.bg, it comes in just like the original image. But if you don't want to pay, you're not paying for remove.bg, you can use it simply to get the outline that you can crop from the picture that's in Silhouette Studio. Hopefully that makes sense. But this is all like, I don't have to pay for anything. I didn't have to pay for remove.bg to do this, not paying for Silhouette Studio. This is where you can do it all for free in Silhouette, you know, all for free. But it's the same concept. And then you would still go in and do your edit points just to refine it. And so because, you know, even though it wasn't like a great trace, it kind of put those edit points in pretty decent areas. And because it's the original image back there, it's not going to really stand out like a sore thumb because it is the original image. Now, like in certain areas right here, I may want to kind of go in a little bit tighter so that I don't see the awning right here, and it's just the letters. And I'll pull my edit points right to the edge of his helmet. Like for any edit points that's on top of the text, you know, you may want to just go in there and just get very, very detailed with it. So it looks like it's just his body right in front of the letters. But you can see, same thing we did over in Photoshop. Oh, well, let me actually change this to white. I did not say, okay, I was gonna say, I did not say outline, but there you have it. So you don't always need Photoshop for certain things that you guys are wanting to do. You know, someone's like, I want to be able to create an edit image. I want to be able to, you know, put things behind it. Don't get me wrong, Photoshop is great. I use Photoshop for a lot of things, but you don't necessarily need it for simple edits and things like this. Like you can do it in Silhouette Studio. You just have to know how to work the Silhouette Studio tools. I'm going to show you one more way to where even if you don't want to use remove.bg, you're going to, again, copy and paste in front. So I'm just going to hold down Alt and click. I'm going to put a circle just around his head. So I don't even have to do like the whole thing. Oops. I didn't mean to move that. I meant to move the circle. And then you're going to take the circle, hold down Shift, click on the background, and you're going to crop. It's going to look like nothing has changed because remember, we duplicated the original image. I'm going to take the name, bring it down here, click right here where the face is, bring it to the front. And now I'm going to use my edit points. So double click. Now with this way, because you don't have like an outline already, you will have to do all of the editing yourself with the edit points. With the other methods, because we were able to do a trace and detach on it, because it was already separated from the very colorful and like busy background, your edit points were already pretty close. Ooh, whoa. Your edit points were already pretty close to your subject. So you don't have to worry about bringing in all of the points. But this way, where you're completely using Silhouette Studio and no external programs or apps, you have to just know how to work your edit points. But it's still possible to do the exact same thing we did the other ways. Did you guys know that you can do things like this in Silhouette Studio? Or did you think that things like this was only for major like commercialized graphic design software like Photoshop, Illustrator, or Affinity? So to do this, most of you guys probably thought you absolutely needed Photoshop, correct? All right, so I'm not going to do the whole thing, but you get the idea. You'll just have to go around and adjust your edit points. Okay. Let's see. I've used Photoshop, but never used this one before. So this is Silhouette Studio. It is the program that you use to control the cutting machines, Silhouette Cameo, Silhouette Portrait, Curio, but you can use it as a standalone designing software, and you don't have to have a machine in order to use the software. Let's see. I missed some questions here. What is the name of the studio you're using? Silhouette Studio. OMG, that was amazing. Never in my life. I didn't know. Thank you. Let's see. I didn't know that either. I need to learn Photoshop and this as well. Well, Halo, if you want to learn both, yes. So Photoshop can be faster depending on like how you're doing certain things. In Silhouette Studio, it really wasn't that bad because, like I said, I still had to use my edit points. The major difference is the faster way in Silhouette Studio, I did have to use an external software or program or app. I had to use remove.bg. Whereas with Photoshop, you can do that right in Photoshop. Now, there are things that, let's say once you get it all done, Silhouette Studio actually becomes a little bit faster. So I'm not sure if you guys know, when you click on text in Silhouette Studio, you can go in and you can rotate it, you can size it as soon as you click on it, right? But in Photoshop, once you click on it, you can move it, but you cannot rotate it. You have to go into your free transform. A lot of people kind of shy away from keyboard shortcuts, but this is a time where knowing your keyboard shortcuts really comes in handy, because all you have to do is Control T, Command T on a Mac, and then you would be able to rotate it and then resize it. So it's like it's a one extra step that you have to do for Photoshop. Whereas like with Silhouette Studio, for certain edits, I get kind of frustrated with Photoshop because you have to go into transform, even to do things like flip it, to mirror something. You can't just go in here and click on this and mirror it. If you do, you're going to mirror the whole thing. Like you have to go into free transform, right click to go to like rotate it or mirror it or skew it, rotate it, scale it, all of those different things. You have to go into free transform, where in Silhouette Studio, all you have to do is click it and you can adjust it, you can rotate it, you can go over to the shear tool so that you can skew it. So certain things are a bit faster in Silhouette Studio. Let's see. Oh, but I was saying, if you want to learn Silhouette Studio and get to this level, first part of it is learning the tools. You have to learn the tools. You have to learn where they are, what their functions are, how they work. And that is where my 30-day training comes into play. So we have Essentials to Silhouette Studio. That is 30 days. I think I want to say it's like 33 sessions, well over 40 hours of learning content, where I break down each and every essential tool of Silhouette Studio, how to do subtract all. What happens if, you have something that's ungrouped and you subtract? Why is everything going away? What happens when you crop? Why can't you crop multiple items? How do you trace? How do you weld? How do you use your edit points? All of that is broken down in the Essentials to Silhouette Studio. Learn Silhouette Studio in 30 days training. It is $83.65 on our site. You have unlimited lifetime access to it. You also get access to a private Facebook group to help you along the way. Like if you ever get stuck, you can post questions there. You can share your progress in that group. And that was recorded. It was recorded live via Zoom audience. You're getting the playbacks. You can start, stop, take notes, and work at your own pace at any time of day, that you're free. Now, if you want to learn Photoshop, I'm going to end up doing like a few things here and there. I do have one on Honestly SpINKing's YouTube channel, and it's like some quick things for Photoshop, like intro to Photoshop type deals. So this particular one, I'm not going to be going over like the essentials and breaking it all down. I kind of did a poll of what people were wanting to learn, and I'm going to tell y'all right now, you're going to eventually need to learn those tools. But a lot of those who kind of engaged said the main things they wanted to know was how to remove backgrounds, how to do simple edits, like remove blemishes, how to blur things out, how to do effects. So we're going to do that over the course of 2 days. We're just going to focus on simple edits. We're going to use the clone tool. I'll show you how to like amp up color with your tones and things like that. And then add image effects like drop shadows, embossing, and different things like that. So 2 days, it's going to be like an hour and a half, with 30 minutes of Q&A on Monday the 21st and Tuesday the 22nd. There are 2 sessions on each day. There is an 11 o'clock session. There is a 6 o'clock session that you can attend. And these are Eastern Standard Times for 12 noon Eastern Time or 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will purchase it here. You should get an email. If you've never signed up for any of my classes, you should get an email that's going to be your express login for our Academy site. You cannot just go to the Academy site and put your email in, because it's going to tell you there's already an account created. So either go to the Academy site and create the free account, or remember to look for that email that's your express login, because that's where you're going to find the Zoom link. It will be recorded live via Zoom. You're able to come in, participate, interact in real time, and then you'll have access to the playbacks in unlimited time. Yes, I have 3 YouTube channels. If you click the link in my bio, all of them are there. Yes, you have lifetime access to the content from the class. So the Photoshop one, normally a 2-day class with me is $33.65. So if you don't know how my class structure is set up right now, if you're watching this in like the 2023, 2024 might be a little bit different. But as of right now, the way our structure is, if it's a 1-day class, it's $23.65. If it's a 2-day class, it's $33.65. If it's a 3-day class, it is $43.65, and so forth and so on. So this particular one is on sale for $23.65. So you're getting 2 days for the price of one. The 30-day training wasn't going to charge y'all like out the wazoo for the 30-day training. So that, as of right now, after Black Friday, that is changing because we're also kind of somewhat changing the structure, but everyone who's in it will basically be grandfathered in. So the price of the 30-day training will change because we're going to add some things to it. We're going to start to work on some design stuff, and so that's gonna change just a little bit after Black Friday. So the website, the link is in my bio. When you click on that, you'll see it, and any of the top ones you click on will take you to our website. But it is shop.hsink365.com. Shop.hsink365.com. She says, I knew because of you, I want Photoshop for fades and such. Yes. So those type of edits, of course, Photoshop is best for that. She says, no, because I learned Select Studio from the professor. Exactly. So some people already knew that they could do this. I didn't know I could add the name behind the person. Okay. Let's see. I knew because you showed us. Can you repeat your future plans for the 2 trainings? What do you mean? Can I repeat my future plans? Photoshop for sure. She says, yes, I'm signing up for the Essentials to Photoshop, and I still have gift certificates from September. Yay! All right, y'all, I gotta go. It is closing time. Have a slight headache, so today I'm going to shut down a little bit early, but hopefully this was helpful for you guys, and you can see what you can do in Silhouette Studio and what you can do in Photoshop. If you didn't know about your subject select, if you didn't know about select and mask, or even masking in general and using your pencil, this would be a great training for you to go and practice with an image of your choice. And if you want to practice the same thing in Silhouette Studio, you can do that as well. Just follow this video back. I would love to see what you guys do with your particular image, where you try something like this. Try and keep it real simple, single subject, trace them out, put the name in between the background and them, and I would love to see it. Make sure you guys post it to my group. All right, y'all. Until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.